on a number line, and always the number furthest to the right always is the greater number. And it gets a little crazy here because you're going to have now negatives to order rational numbers using the numbered line least to greatest. So once you have your numbers on the number line, these are the least, and then they go to 0, and then you go into your positive numbers. Those become the greatest. And then on the opposite, greatest to least, then you would think, where do my numbers fall on the number line? And I'm going to go this way from greatest to least. So it really gets crazy when we've got our number line. Our negative numbers. So we're going to graph each of these, and we're going to see where we go. So let's see. They've already graphed that one. So the first thing you want to look at when you're graphing, who knows what? Who knows what you would look at? If I'm looking at this graph, what would you have to determine?
The in-between?
The in-between, very good. The units. So if I'm going to count in between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it must be in tenths. So all of these, and again, you can put them any way. So I'll put it right below. 0.10, I can't write this. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. These are negatives, by the way. Oops. Negative, 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 and then -4 and so on. So I'm not going to do that. So where would this one be? This one's easy. On the right side, how many over? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is pretty easy. I need to get a different color here. So that is going to be the 0.4. That's pretty easy. Then on this one, this is going to be, and it doesn't have to be exact, but that's going to be in between what? 1 and 8/10 and 1 and 9/10. So 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's going to be a little bit past that. So again, these don't have to be exact. So then you have to go backwards. Where is the negative going to go? Left side, are we there yet? Here is 4/10, 5/10, 6. Is it right here?
Well, it's 1 point.
Very good. You have to go past the 1. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. Here's the 5. Here's the 6. So it looks like it's going to be right in between here. So -1.575 is right here. Then 3/5. How are you going to do that? You're right. Times it times 2, make it into tenths. So this would be times 2 is 6, times 2 is 10. So it's -6/10. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it is right here. And we usually put it back in the original form. I didn't write that real well. Then, how are you going to do 3/8? Remember, 1/8 is what? 0.125. 3 times 0.125 is what? Something. 0.375. So then we can determine that goes in between the 0.3 and the 0.4. So that's going to go 10, 20, or 0.3 here. So that I don't have enough room. It's going to be closer to the 4. And that's going to be our 3/8. And here's another 1/8. So this is, let me see, that would be 1,000 minus 125, 8.75. So 1.875. Try to do it without dividing. And then that's going to go in between the 8 and the 9. 8 and, well, I've already got it here. We already did that one, I guess. And then this one, this in decimals is what? 1/3 is what? Is it 0.333? So 2/3 is 0.666. So I'll just put 2, and so that's going to be in between the 6/10 and the 7/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be right in between here. Oh, it's negative. Ah, bad teacher. Okay, so here we go. So backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's going to be right in between. Oh, I should have put 1 2/3, but that's okay. I'll leave it like that. Okay, so these get a little bit harder. Oh, I have something. I think I do. I think I have the mixed up answers. I just need scissors to cut it. I do have scissors. Okay, here you go. All right, let me get this out real fast. These are going to be the mixed up answers that we're using.
Oh, is that a white sheet of paper? Okay.
All right, so now you're going to determine which one is greater or less. When you're doing negatives, it's the opposite. The one that looks greater is the one that's the least. So let's look at this one. What is this as a decimal? Multiply by 2 by 2. Negative 0.6. Which I can put on a 0. So if you're locating these on the number line, so if 0.65, where's 0.65? In fact, negative 0.65 is right here. Negative 60 would be right here. So the one on the right is always the greater, the one that is closer to 0 on the negative side. So which one is greater? Oh, this one. They've already done that one. Darn. Okay, so this one, here's one where you have to memorize 1/8 is 0.125. So 3/8 would be what? 375. So because we don't want to have to divide every single time. So then therefore these are positives. These you look at in the normal way. Greater than. Then this one, 1,000 minus 125 would be 875. 1.875. So this one is, which one's greater than this one? Again, the greater gets 2 dots, the smaller gets 1, and that gives you the direction. Then this one, so if you can get these mentally, that's great, but still show what the decimal is. What's the decimal for 2/3? We just did it, yeah. Since that has 3, I'll go over 1, 2, 3. And so it looks like this one is closer when they're both negatives. Which one is closer to the 0? Which of these two is closer to the 0? Again, the 575. So again, 1.575, if you're using your number line, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around this area. And the 1.6 is here. So the one closer to the 0 is the greater number. And this, as you go back, is smaller. The one on the left is less. The one on the left is less. So on this one, the greater one is this one. And then you can use this. I should end up, and I'm using this one also. 1, do I have 1, 2 that are less, which is right here, 2 or less, and then I've got 1, 2 that are greater. So that's how you cross those off. This is for problems 9 through 20. Yeah. And let's see which ones are really hard here to do. Oh, these look hard. So there's a little bit of work on these to do. Oh, the other way. Okay, the other way, if it looks hard, then use your cross products. So again, 11 times 8 is 88. 9 times 9 is 81. So the 88 is the larger. So if the numbers are small enough, but you don't want to get the decimal, use your cross products. I can even use cross products on these, and let's see how that would work. So this would be 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 13 is 39. Okay, but these are negative. Okay, so which one of these, when you have your negatives, I would say which one of these is closer to the 0?
35.
The 35. This is going to be further left. This is a smaller one. So this one is the greater one. Oops, I should have put it here. And then this one, how do you want to do this one? I know if I divide, 15 goes into this 6 times, so this one I can reduce. I can reduce it by 6, and this is 7. 90 divided by 6 is 15. So therefore, these two are equal. So again, there's different ways of doing it. Let's see if they give us any other way in the book. Alrighty. See if you can figure out these next two. Well, I'm looking to see if the book is telling us any other way to get those. Oh, also that's another thing I want to do is give you your books today unless you want to wait till Monday. Because I've got them in the room. Okay, 1.5. Okay, they're saying, yeah, you can either get a common denominator. That was the one I forgot. You can get a common denominator, use cross products, or put them in decimal form. Alrighty, so that's not too difficult. Oh, those are ugly. So on this one, I would probably reduce them both first. So I'm going to reduce this one. 5 goes into both of them. So that's going to be 5 over 4. And I'm going to reduce this by dividing it by 3. So that's going to be 5. Oh, this is 5 over 4. So that's going to be what? Equal. So again, you can reduce, get the decimal equivalent, but if the numbers are big, I would try to reduce them. Can I reduce this one here? Does 3 go into both of those? So 3 goes into both of those. 7 over 4. And then I would probably use, what would you want to do? Decimals or cross multiply? Yeah, me too. So 9 times 7 is 63. So there's a little bit of work here, but you can write right on the paper. 7 times that's 32, 64. So these are both positive, so it's the standard. That greater one is the greater. And on these last two, I'm going to let you kind of figure it out. Again, the 2's you can ignore. You just need to work with the 11/20ths and 9/16ths. You can ignore this. Does 16 go into this? Yes. How many 16s are in this? 4. 16 and 16 is 32. If I double it, it's that. So if I divided this by 4, here's another way. So if I divided this by 4, I get 16. Normally we wouldn't do this, but we're just comparing, so I don't care. And this is, how many 4's in that? Is that 2.5? 2.5? Or is it 2 1/4? 2 1/4. If I go 9 over 4, that's 2. It's going to be 2 1/4. So 2.25. But still, isn't this one greater than this one? Yes. So normally I wouldn't do that, but if we're comparing, you can make a decimal over the whole number on the fraction. So this one is greater. And we might as well do this one. So on this one, how would we do this one? Should we do decimal? I don't know. In decimal form, this would be times 5 times 5. It would be negative 2.55. And so I might just take the time to divide this one. 9 divided by 16. And is that 5 exactly? No, 5 times that is 80. Okay, so I'm going to take it one more time. And I know 15 goes into that 6 times. And that's all I care about. Okay. I don't even have to have an exact number. I know if that were a 15, it would go 6 times. In fact, I know it goes 6 because that's going to be 96. I can stop because this then is negative 2.56. So which one of these two is closer to the 0?
It'd be negative 2.5.
That one. So the one closer to the 0 is the greater. So these are a little tricky. These are. But we should be able to cross off the rest of those. We've got 2 equals, and then we got 1, 2 greater than, and 2 less than, and I'm missing something. I don't know. I might have missed it somewhere. But anyway, then on these, you have to list all of these in order from the least to the greatest. When you're looking at your answer bank, all right, this is one. Could you get a common denominator? This is an easy one to get a common denominator. It would be 18. So again, you're going to do these various ways, whichever is easiest to do. So this would be 18. So it'd be 4 over 18. This one is, to get it 18 multiplied by 3, 3 over 18, and 5/18. Can you now see which one is the least?
Yes.
So the least is the 1/6. The next one would be the 2 over 9. And the last one is the 5/18. But all you're going to see on this is the first number. Because if I gave you all 3, I'm telling you the full answer. So it looks like so far we got it right. That is the 1/6. So we're on the right track. So this is going to help you get on the right track. Then on this one, could you get a common denominator? How about 36? 36. And I'm not going to write the 36 each time. All I'm going to do, what would I have to multiply this by to get it to be 36?
3. Wait, no. 4.
4. So 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm just going to put the negative 20. So I've got negative 20. Where can I put it? There's no room. Then, to make this 36, multiply it by what? By 3. So 3 times 7 is negative 21. And then this one by what? 2. So it'd be negative 22. Okay. Then, again, with negatives, it's opposite. What looked like the greatest is really the smallest. The one closest to the 0 is the largest. Which one's closest to the 0? The negative 20. So in fact, I think these are in order. The negative 5/9. Let me see if I'm on the right track. Did I not write it? I did not write it. But I better, negative 5/9. I was supposed to have written that. Ah, I'm sorry, thank you. That's why this answer bank helps me. I did it wrong. That's why we use the answer banks. You're right. This is the greatest. We're not going from the greatest. Who the two of you, CJ and Anthony, both said that? Candy. All right. So it should be the 11/18. Is that on the answer bank? Yes. Okay. So now we're on the right track. All right. And then the negative 7 over 12, and then the negative 5 over 9. How do you want to do these here? These would be easy, honestly, in decimals. Because hundredths, we can make that hundredths too. So 5 times 20 is 100, so multiply this by 5. It would be what? Is it negative 45? Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going 5, 5. So it's actually, I'm putting it in a decimal form, but I'm just leaving it like that. Then what would we multiply this one by?
4.
By 4, and this by 4, so that would be negative 52. And this is 5 to get it to be 100. I'd multiply it by 20. So 3 times 20 is negative 60. So again, we want the least, we want the one furthest from the 0. Which one is furthest from the 0?
Negative 60.
Yeah, the negative 60, which is the negative 3/5. And then these actually are in order. Then the negative 13 over 25, and then the negative 45. So negative, I should see negative 3/5 here, if I typed it right. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's it. And 11, we cross that one off. Do you guys think you can handle these? These are actually easier because all you need to do is basically look at the first two, first two, first two. Can you get those in order? Those are simple. And I bet you can do those. So I'm going to leave those for you to do. And then let's see what you need to do on the back. Does anybody know what time it is? Because I don't. I can't stop this. So this is the same thing. List them from least to greatest. So I don't know what the best way to do on this one. Probably decimal form. And I'm going to tell you at home on these three, it says use a calculator to rename each fraction. Do exactly that. If I could find my phone, I would show. Okay, I do have my phone. Okay. So, in fact, I'm going to say at this point, okay, all right, these are all positive. You might have to just get them in decimal form. I don't know if there's an easier way. 5, 12, 5, and you can just start them 5 divided by 12, and that goes in 0.4. Oh, I'd have to carry it out again. Oh no, it's already, isn't this one already bigger than this one? If it's 0.4, I might have to carry it out more, but we'll see. On this one, 9 divided by 32. And that's going to go, I have it backwards. 9 divided by 32. And so this is going to go, does that even go 3 times? No, it's only going to go 2. So I think we've got our order. So sometimes you don't have to divide it all the way through. This one came to 0.4. This, our first digit came to 0.2. So can we line it up now?
Yes.
So the least is which one? 0.0. Greatest to least. 2 times. 2 candies for you two. Okay. So the greatest would be this one, which is the 5. Thank you. I'm going to circle that. 5/12. Then our next one is the 9 over 32. And then the last one is the 0.048. So, and on these, you already know the greatest, the negatives are going to be the smallest. So you should know that this one and this one are going to be the greatest. You should know that. It sounds like it's time to go. This one and this one. So these you get to use calculators. Somehow do the first digit dividing to get your decimal and see if you can do these two. And we'll call it a day. Use your calculator. Give me an approximate decimal on these and then put less than or greater than. Okay, can you handle that? What's that? There's lockers outside? That means, yeah, and it's 12:03. So it's about time to go.